Yes guys, welcome back to some more F1 My Team here today, and this is going to be the Russian Grand Prix. Now, real quick, if you missed the previous episode at Singapore, then I'll leave that linked up in the top right hand corner of the screen, so go check that one out, let me know what you think, and also there is some spoilers up ahead, so I do recommend you go click on that if you have missed it. But today, it's time for Russia. The title fight is on. It's me versus my own teammate George Russell, and the Constructors is already wrapped up. We did that in the last episode as well, so it's going to be a straight fight. And in today's episode, we have some very interesting weather conditions up ahead. But guys, if you're going to enjoy today's episode, snap a like on it. Let's try and hit 700 likes for today's video. Subscribe for more content like this, and let's get the episode underway. Here we are then on the laptop, and you can see on the weather forecast the rain is going to be pretty heavy in the race, to the point where we're expecting monsoon conditions, so we'll keep an eye out for that, but that could be very spicy indeed. We then look at the R&D graph, and we don't have any upgrades for this race. Mercedes bring a small one along with Ferrari and AlphaTauri, and yeah, to be fair, a lot of minor upgrades going on there for most teams this weekend, and no real big movements in terms of the shuffle. And finally, we look at our own upgrades, and we do have an ultimate engine upgrade on the way for the next race in Suzuka, so hopefully that will arrive and we can enjoy that. But nonetheless, we're moving to practice, and again, it's not going to be super important in practice because the race is going to be in the wet, so any data we do collect is going to be largely irrelevant. But still, we're going to try and have a decent session and make sure we hit all of our targets and all of our sponsor goals, because that is really important, and we want to try and make sure we get as many upgrades in the car as possible. The target for me, I think, is hitting a maxed out car for the final race in Abu Dhabi. That's what I'd love to do, so we'll see if we can try and pull that off in the closing stages of the season. But with that said, practice went reasonably well on the mediums and the soft tyres. We went quickest of all. Russell got second on the hard tyre, so he looks very fast around here, and overall a successful session. We also scored once again over 1,000 R&D points, which is going to help us out quite a lot, and hopefully we'll put some more upgrades on at the end of today's episode. And finally, in terms of acclaim, no real big changes, as we're at a stage now where practice means nothing really in terms of acclaim now, and the only big chunk of acclaim we get is in the race. With that said though, we move into qualifying on Saturday. A really key session. Tyre wear goes out the window because of the rain tomorrow, so we don't have to worry about saving tyres, and it's just going flat out basically and trying our absolute best. And this was my first lap in the session. A pretty decent banker in fairness. It felt really good. The car was in a really good performance window, but it wasn't absolutely the quickest, and it's one of them races where I feel like the AI are a bit stronger in qualifying. We crossed the line, go P2, a 10th behind Verstappen, but we still got a lot of the big boys yet to set a lap, and eventually we got pushed down to P6, and this lap right here was my best lap of qualifying. So let's go for the full lap, let's enjoy it, and I'll get back to you when the lap is done.
There's only one lap of fuel remaining.
There we go, out the final corner, crossing the line, and we improved by about 2.5 tenths of a second, and we move up into the top 4. Later on, we got pushed down to P5, and this was my final run. You can see here, we found about a tenth through that corner, and this is where the mistake happened, so I ran a bit wide here, to the point where that would be an invalidation. So what I did was I actually backed off on purpose a little bit. I just got my foot off the gas I on purpose lost my 1/10 advantage, and I reset that to 0, and you can see how I was a 10.5 up in the final part of the lap, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. Running a quick replay here, you can see we run off the track, all 4 wheels off, and I was a 10.5 up almost, but I actually let off the throttle and didn't want to improve anyway. So yeah, you know, we've got keeping it fair, because if it was strictly corner cutting, that would have been an invalidation. So we've got to keep it consistent. So I backed out my final run. The actual lap I did do, that was pretty strong. I think at best I would have maybe improved by 2/10, and looking at the grid, I think at absolute maximum qualifying pace, I could have maybe got P6. That would have been the absolute best result. So not really much would have changed. Russell is on the front row alongside Bottas, who's on pole, and then it's both AlphaTauris on the second row, Kvyat out qualifying Stroll, and then it's Leclerc, Hamilton, Verstappen, myself, Gasly and Albon rounding out the top 10. So a pretty mixed up grid, but now we've got to worry about the rain and the monsoon conditions heading into the race. Hamilton outscores us in the rivalry, but we still have a 7-point lead. And then finally, in terms of acclaim, there probably won't be much of a boost for me, but Russell will gain a respectable amount for qualifying on the front row. And with that said, guys, that is going to be it for qualifying. We're now going to move into the race for the Russian Grand Prix.
Welcome along then to Sochi and the Russian Grand Prix, one of 8 cities in the world to play host to both the Olympics and a Formula One race. It's a Grand Prix that's proven difficult to crack for anyone beyond the first 2 rows of the grid in recent years, so let's see if that can change today. Well, it's certainly not the best weather out on the Sochi street circuit today, a track that boasts 18 corners, 12 to the right and 6 to the left. And it's a track that combines both fast corners and long straights, resulting in speeds of excess of 200 miles an hour. But with these conditions, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a safety car out there today. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Martinez. They've got a really good lead in the championship going into this weekend, so it feels to me that they've got one hand on the trophy.
Certainly there are worse positions to be in, but it's vital they don't let complacency creep in. As soon as you let yourself think it's over before it actually is, that's where everything can and often will go wrong.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and starting next to them is George Russell. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Kvyat, Stroll, Charles Leclerc and Hamilton, Verstappen, Martinez, Gasly and Alexander Albon, Vettel, Magnussen, Esteban Ocon and Sainz, Norris, De Vries, Jack Aitken and Antonio Giovinazzi, Latifi, Grosjean, Perez and Mick Schumacher. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
Here we go, guys. It's time for the race, and my goodness me, it's really throwing it down, and it looks like there could be monsoon rain on the way, which usually means a safety car. So we'll see how that goes. In principle, a 0-stop race is what's going to be the plan today. Tyre wear seems very low on the wet tyres. I'm running the lowest possible fuel, which is still 1.5 over, but there's nothing we can really do about this. So yeah, it looks like it might actually dry up right at the very end of the race, so we may actually go into inters, I think, halfway through. Once we get through the monsoon phase, it's going to definitely dry out quite quickly, so I definitely think we will be on inters at the end of the race, but I don't think we'll be on dryers. So yeah, let's see how it goes. I'm looking forward to it. It's been a minute since I've raced in these conditions, and they tend to be pretty good for me. You know, I really enjoy them, and it seems to be quite good for my pace and my driving style. We start from 8th place, which is a bit lower than I hoped for, but we'll try and give it a crack anyway and see how it goes. So yeah, let's jump into it, and without further ado, let's get the Russian Grand Prix underway. Well, let's see what kind of start we get. We're going to knock it down to lean revs here and drop the RPM slightly. Lights out, and away we go. Trying to traction up, which is very difficult. Visibility already extremely poor. A couple of cars getting past me already here as we're down to P11, so not the best start as we go down towards turn 1. I'm going to switch to the outside at the last minute. See if we can get Leclerc. Oh, that's actually Vettel, to be fair, my bad. We're going to try and get ahead of him, which we do. Can we get the Red Bull of Albon as well down the inside of turn 3? It's going to be tight. There's not a lot of grip, just trying to be cautious at this stage. Visibility is very poor as well. Albon, though, holds on, so we can't get past the Red Bull driver. I'm going to keep on challenging, though. Down the inside, it's a big old lunge on the brakes. getting the elbows out nice and early, and luckily we do get ahead, so nice move. I'm actually really struggling to see the track at the minute, so being a bit further behind the car in front is actually quite decent for us, as I completely missed my apex through there. Albon's trying to get back past. Oh my goodness me. Big catch. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. I put the overtake button on a bit too early there. That could have been massive for the championship. What a catch. Probably one of the best catches I think I've ever got. I thought I was gone at one stage. Let's get back on it. I need to focus though. The conditions are horrific. And we're P9, so we've lost a place at the end of lap 1. Okay, we're starting to put a little bit of pressure on Verstappen here. It's taken me a while, but I'm starting to hit my groove a little bit in these conditions. Bottas out front, setting the pace, of course. Nice clean air, no spray for him. Usually there would be DRS, but there isn't in this case, so we're going to have to get this one done the old-fashioned way with just some pure straight-line speed. And we'll see how this goes. At the minute, though, the rain is not going anywhere. Still absolutely just chucking it down. So we're going to see how this goes. I believe there's a Renault just in front of Lewis Hamilton there, who's going a bit slow, and that's causing these guys to lose a bit of time. I'm actually pretty close to Max, but through here the AI are quicker than me. They manage to somehow keep it flat, whereas I have to lift because I don't have traction control. But we're closing in now. We're starting to make some progress. Feels like the rain's getting worse. I think we're going into the real monsoon phase here. Visibility even to the car ahead is getting quite poor. You can see right there, I'm really struggling to see a damn thing. I feel like there's going to be a safety car in a minute because of the monsoon. But I want to try and get past Max if I can. This could be the one if I can just get the drive out of here. Oh, there we go. Damn it. Oh well. Just going to have to chill behind the safety car for a bit. I was just about to line up Max for a move there, but we're going to have to just be patient. Okay, safety car in this lap. My tyres are absolutely stone cold. So it's going to be tricky to be competitive here. The rain is still pretty bad, but it has improved slightly. My tyres are frozen, so we're going to be in big trouble here on this restart, especially at this pace. Anyway, we're going to have a bit of fun with it and see how it goes, get the elbows out, but we might be going backwards at the start. Again, I'm going to have to get back into a rhythm before I get to go quick, so visibility, not really improving, but a minute ago you couldn't even see the corner ahead, now you can kind of see it, so that's something. Right, let's go then. You can actually see the water off the track from the car ahead. That's pretty insane. Here we go then. Let's get back on it. Trying to find any kind of traction on these freezing tyres. Looks like Albon may try and challenge for a move here. Going to just stay in the wheel tracks of Verstappen. Hopefully that should be enough. No idea where to brake. I'm completely blind here. I'm running pretty much max graphic settings, so the spray is very tricky to drive with.
Okay,
oh wow.
Car is out. The safety car is out. We need to form up at a reduced pace. Keep a close eye on that delta time. Make sure to keep it positive.
Another one. I mean, I was going backwards anyway, so it doesn't really bother me, but I need to try and do a better job of keeping tyre temperature on this restart, so let's see how this one goes. I'm trying to get rid of the fuel as well. I've got too much fuel on board. Okay, the track's ready to race now, so I kind of hope the safety car pits. I don't think it will though. I think we're going for another lap, but the track has definitely improved. I'm making sure my tyre temperatures are really high, so we're ready for the restart this time. Okay, it's time for another restart. Temperatures are looking a bit better this time round. I've done a better job, so we should be a bit more competitive. Also, the rain now has well and truly calmed down a bit. Visibility has improved a lot, so should be good. This pace is really slow though. The rears are quickly going off, and I can't wheel spin them because when you're under the safety car limiter right now, you're on traction control and ABS, so you can't lock up or wheel spin the rears. Now you can. There we go. The second you get prepared to resume racing, you get full control, except for sometimes being throttled. But there we go then. We're back on it. Let's try and set up this final corner to get the drive. There it is. Love that. Tyres up to temperature, so we're on the pace straight away here. What is the straight line speed going to be like? Here we go. Challenging Verstappen on this safety car restart. We're going to go to the outside. Can be a lot more confident on the brakes, and around the outside we go, and we're back up to P8, so back where we started. Great restart from us, this time on the pace with the tyres. Let's get on with it. Bottas new fastest lap. Let's see what we set. We're on a pretty good one here. 46.0. That's decent enough. We've already got a 1 second gap to Verstappen, and we're closing up to Lewis and Gasly ahead. So race on. Now we're going to start seeing how this goes. The track will start drying out already, I think. And we're now going to start going towards the intermediate phase. Bottas is flying 44.7 from him. That is incredible pace. I can only do a 45.6, so Bottas is pretty much a full second quicker. I can't really close in on the guys ahead at the minute in the crucial areas, so we're kind of stuck here for now. I think it's going to be Inters now, any second. Might be worth rolling the dice maybe and going on to those. The rain has really slowed down. It's definitely just light rain now, so could be Inters any moment.
Pitting this lap then. Come into the pits at the end of this lap.
Yeah, I'm going to pit. Here we go. These guys are the first to pit. I'm going to follow them because that way we haven't got a stack behind Russell next lap. So I was going to pit anyway. It was totally worth it. So we're going to be the first cars onto the Inters, and we've got the last pit box, which is very important. We may actually be able to jump both Hamilton and Gasly here. If this stop is sub 2 second, we could be right in the money. Here we go then. Inters selected. I just need a quick stop. Come on, boys. Let's go. 2.7, and we've rejoined ahead of Hamilton, or into Hamilton there. Bit of ghosting. I hate it when that happens, but we're ahead of him.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
Right, away we go then. Trying to get the traction on these, which we do. On the Inters, let's try and push on the outlap and close up to Gasly. Potentially undercut a few of the cars ahead of us, so we need a strong lap here. Purple second sector. Russell pits. Here we go then, let's see how this goes. We're trying to push as much as I can. Trying to maximise this outlap. This is going to be really close, I think, with some cars in the pit straight.
George is going in for his stop.
I wonder if I can get Gasly as well soon. I'd love to dispatch him quickly. Especially in these conditions, we may have a better chance of doing so. Right, this is it then. Loads of cars in the pits. Purple final sectors. We've got Leclerc leaving the pit exit right in front. He was ahead of us, so he has lost a bit of time. Will Gasly get him? It's going to be close. Looks like he won't. We're going to be just behind Pierre though. Ooh, we're going to go for it here. Are we going to go for it? Oh, not quite. Again, I don't have the traction, so I can't quite go for that move. But we're going to keep this pressure on big time. Nicely done through there. If I can traction up, which I do, I may be able to get a move on Gasly here. We're closing on the Renault. Do we have enough on the straight? No, we don't, but on the brakes we do. Down the inside, big send, and we're past and up into P7. We've got Leclerc in front, Russell in front of him, who's not having a particularly great race, I've got to say, in the other car. So for the championship, this is good for us. Let's close in on Leclerc. We're going to set a new fastest lap as well. We've got an AlphaTauri in the pit lane, I believe, so we're going to get another place. Interesting, AlphaTauri going quite long with their strategies. Let's see. There we go, 42.1. Definitely Inters. Can we get Stroll here? It's going to be close. He's leaving the pit exit right now, and there he is on the right-hand side. I think we've just got him. Yes, we have. So we're P5 in this race now. There it is. All the positions have updated themselves. So we get Leclerc here. This will be for P4, sorry. So let's hunt him down. Okay, there goes our fastest lap. Surprisingly, it wasn't Bottas who took it. It was Danica Kvyat. We set a new fastest lap though, even quicker. So we seem to have some good pace. No DRS.
Still on the right tyres for the time being.
But we're closing in on Leclerc here. We know the Ferrari isn't quick on the straight. Here we go. Going to try and set Leclerc offline a little bit. Can I get the drive through here? Yes, I do. We're going to try it. Oh, that's so close. Wowee. Whew. Being very risky with the driving, but we're trying to make places up. I think Kvyat actually is in the lead. That's why he set the fastest lap. So he's managed to undercut Bottas, who was very comfortable out front. So Kvyat leads his home Grand Prix in the AlphaTauri. What a crazy race this has been so far. We're going to try this one again, if I can stay nice and close through here. Kvyat takes away my fastest lap. We're not going to beat it this time. Here we go. Let's see if we can get Leclerc this time. I'm going to try and be a bit more aggressive and a bit braver on the brakes into turn one. Looks like Leclerc's running a bit of a higher engine mode this time. I'm not really catching him on the straight. Thought about it there, but that would have just been disaster. Leclerc would have turned in on me there and I would have lost my front wing. That was a pretty decent final sector from me, actually. Ended up matching my personal best. Can we challenge Leclerc again here? Just seems like I'm lacking a bit on the straight now all of a sudden, when before I was challenging quite easily, which is a bit of a shame. That's the only place it's going to happen in a minute. I don't really have the pace for it anywhere else. So yeah, rain has stopped. So dry tyres imminent. There it is, that's quick. Let's see where that is.
Confirmed.
That's for next lap. So, oh no. Oh my goodness, mate. Oh dear. Big mistake. Oh no. I'm going to have to pit this lap, surely. I'm going to have to pit.
Right, come in at the end of this lap.
DRS enabled. What a huge mistake. And Russell's probably going to pit, so we're going to have to stack. But to be fair, I'm a bit far back, so I should be okay. That's not good though. Big mistake from us for the championship. Oh my god, the grip is horrible. Come on, get it slowed down. Right, we should be fine. I don't think we'll lose too much. And we're still in the mix, so that's okay. I think we got away with that one, to be fair. Let's see what kind of stop we have. And I don't think we should be held that badly. Russell's in the pit box right now. We're about to find out the damage. How bad is it going to be? Come on, pit crew. Get ready for me, boys. I'm on my way. And there we go. That's not too bad. We can take that. Ring change. Come on, boys. Come on, fellas. Let's get on with it. 10-second stop. Come on, come on, come on.
Go now, go.
Okay, we're out ahead of Verstappen. So P10. Make that P11. But we're still in the points because once the intermediate runners pit, we'll still be in the top 10. So we've lost a couple places, but not too bad. So we're going to need a big stint here on these soft tyres to turn this around. I didn't expect to be on dries this race, but there we go. Plenty of fuel in the reserve, which is good, so that's going to help us out. So let's crack on with this. The track has really dried out, I've got to say. You can see the Inters guys really struggling for grip as we breeze past Grosjean. Alright, let's try and get on with this now. We've got things to do, places to be. Oh, yellow flag. That's behind us. I think that's Verstappen. It is Verstappen. Oh, wow. Just like that. We're going to probably go for a send on De Vries here. I feel like we're going to get him on the brakes. Down the inside. Oh, that was a bit scruffy. Had to cut the corner. I had so much more speed. We'll take it, though. I know it wasn't a clean move. I don't usually like those, but circumstances in terms of the tyre differential. I expected De Vries to be a lot slower in terms of turning in, but either way, we got away with damage, which is the important thing. No safety car VSC. Let's see how many cars on Inters are in the pit lane. But we're by ourselves. No damage, just to make sure. And we move up into P8. So that's where we are. How many more places can we recover? We're about to find out. We're going to smash the fastest lap. I'm absolutely flying now. Gained about a second on Lewis that lap. 1:27.9. I'm going to make sure that we at least pick up the extra point for the fastest lap today. So I'm going to try and push and use everything I've got in the reserve for this fastest lap. Back-to-back fastest laps. No one's taking it away from me.
5 laps of fuel remaining.
Gap to Lewis down to 3.8, so we're gaining about a second a lap. I think at best we'll finish P6 ahead of Gasly if we keep this pace up, which again I'm not too convinced about, but we'll try. Okay, we finally have DRS on Lewis. Surprisingly, the AI have not picked up their pace like they usually do. So maybe they were pushing all this time and I've been catching anyways. So we have a chance here to get past Hamilton and maybe Pierre Gasly, but I think it's going to be just Hamilton. And we still have the fastest lap as well. Let's see if we can line up Hamilton for a move on the pit straight. It's been a scruffy end to the lap. I've run out of ERS. Here we go then. Let's see what we're like on the straight. If it's not going to be this one, it might be the back straight. Look at the speed. We're really big closing speed here on Lewis, but we're not going to challenge. I thought for a second I may have, but in the end we're not going to. Let's keep the pressure on though. This is it, all or nothing. I'm trying to close up to Hamilton here. He's doing a good job of pulling away. I think he's got enough of a gap, unfortunately. I don't think I'm going to close this on this entire straight. I'm going to drain the battery and the fuel. Closing speed's pretty good, actually. Hamilton's out of ERS, it seems. His light was flashing, so this isn't over yet. Kvyat takes away my fastest lap, and now Russell does it. So there's a bit of a hammer blow for the championship. Oh, no mistake. Losing the rear. That's not going to help. Well, that's going to be game over then. That's frustrating. We caught up to Gasly as well, but it's going to be P8 for us, and that mistake proved to be critical. That is not a good race.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
It wasn't always plain sailing today, but a very important win nonetheless. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
As we await the winners to take their positions on the podium, one thing is clear. AlphaTauri have really shown their prowess on the track. This is a team that isn't afraid to take risks, whether that's on the circuit or in the new talent they hire. Today, those risks certainly paid off.
There we go, guys. The results are in. Danny Kvyat picks up the race win in his home Grand Prix ahead of George Russell, who gets second place and the fastest lap. So luckily for us, George doesn't pick up the win, but he does cut down on the points deficit. And you know, it's a good thing we won the last race in Singapore, because otherwise George would be really cutting it down now and closing in. Bottas third, Leclerc P4 ahead of Stroll, Gasly and Hamilton. We finish in 8th place, and then we've got Ocon and Vettel running out the top 10. Missing out on the points, we have Magnussen, Sainz, Albon, Perez, Norris, Aitken, Latifi, Giovinazzi, De Vries, Schumacher, Grosjean and Verstappen, the only retirement from the race here today. We then look at the standings, and we still lead the way, but only by 48 points. The gap is the smallest it's been in a long time, and it's now within 2 race wins. So Russell's making it a challenge, and he's really trying to catch me. Kvyat up to 4th with that race win, overtaking both Mercedes. And we then look at the Constructors, and of course we wrapped that up last time, but still 295 points clear from Red Bull and 296 points clear from Mercedes. So we are dominating on that front. But guys, that is it for the race here at Russia. We're now going to move into the main menu.
Was today a good day for you?
No, not really. It's been a difficult race. You know, I think we didn't maximise it, and yeah, that's what happened. You know, I think the incident was a bit frustrating because I just got distracted for one split second, but also I'm quite thankful that we didn't end our race with that crash. So yeah, I'm happy, relieved, and you know, but just generally I'm not happy today, to be honest.
The weather was miserable today, but do you feel this was an advantage for you?
To be fair, I was doing pretty well in the wet. I felt like I had good pace, and especially in the full wets, but we didn't really get much of a chance because of the safety cars. But you know, we was doing well, the team were ready for me, and that always helps in these conditions.
What could have gone better?
Wow, a lot of things, I think.
Your teammate is up on the podium today. This is a great thing for the team, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've said it, you know, all season long now, but you know, George has been a very good driver this year and has got some really strong results for us, and you know, that's what we're working towards, and that really helps.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Well, after the race, we actually end up scoring the same amount of points as Lewis Hamilton in the rivalry, so we still have a 7-point lead, but I believe the rivalry will come to an end very soon, so we're looking pretty good on that front. We then look at the acclaim. No difference for me because of course I finished pretty low down. George does gain a little bit, so good for him, and I'm happy for him. We then look at the cash bonuses, and somehow, even with a bit of a scruffy weekend, we've managed to hit all of our targets, which is great. So we get a full payout, and no damage deductions on my side, even though I had a crash in the race, which is quite weird. Either way, we're now almost at $45 million. Well, here we are then, guys, back in the menu, and we've got quite a few days until the next race in Suzuka. So first of all, we are going to assign a few activities, throwing on some simulator training there straight away, and we're also going to go for some power team building to help us out, and then looking elsewhere after the invitation event that we're not going to do, we'll go for a sponsor advertisement for the drivers. Now, like I said, we're going to skip the invitational, so we're not going to look into that too much. We've got our ultimate engine upgrade on the way very soon, and we're going to add some more to it. So we're going to go to the chassis side of things, and we're going to purchase, I think, this major brake upgrade. To be fair, this one actually, the weight reduction is tempting, so I might actually go for that instead. That's a big upgrade for us to have, so we're gonna get that on the car. Why not? May as well. We're going to see if we can try and max the car out before the end of the season in terms of performance parts. So there we go then, another ultimate upgrade on the way, and we're now going to skip ahead to the next race in Suzuka. And there we go then, guys. Another race weekend down and only a few more to go now. I think we've got 5 races left, so we're getting towards the thin end of the calendar now, and what could be the final 5 races of the My Team career mode, guys. So enjoy them, drink them in, and you know, hopefully there's some decent races. Either way, if you enjoyed today's episode, then slap a like on it, guys. Let's try and hit 800 likes for today's episode. Subscribe if you are new to the channel, guys, for more daily F1 content and My Team, which is every other day on the channel. And finally, check out the 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But that is it from me here today, and I will see you all next time. But until then, take care, and it's goodbye from me.